All right, everyone. So, back with another video. I know this title might seem a little clickbaity, but it's really not, in all honesty. This is kind of a question that I've had since like I first got the board, because everything that kind of Andy Anderson put into this deck and how he designed it and everything like that, it's designed to be functional in a lot of ways. Yeah, the ACE content is coming, all that stuff. I have a broken toe right now. Some of you might know, might not know. It is getting better. I should be able to skate soon. It's kind of a freak accident at work. But I also wanted, before I get into all this, I did want to thank all of you for using my discount code at Etnies S and America. It is code East Coast Curb Killer, all one word. Gives you 20% off your entire order. Yeah, you guys have helped me out a ton. The rep that I've been working with has taken notice to like the sales and everything like that. I think in the past 5 months, sales have totaled over $20,000 from you guys using that code. So that's pretty unbelievable for me. Obviously, I only get a percentage of that, but helps me out a ton. Really do appreciate it. My family appreciates it. So yeah, thank you guys so much. And also thank you so much to Powell and Bones Skate One for sending me this deck to try out. Okay, so now that that's all out of the way, let's get into some of the skating. I'll show the first, I think it was like first two sessions on the deck, and then I'll talk about it after. I'll show those first two sessions first, and then I'll get into some of the other clips and stuff after that. So let's get into the skating and catch you guys in a sec. All right, so I set up this Andy Anderson board yesterday, and yeah, Powell sent me a box of like, they sent me 2 boards, so I got an Andy Anderson deck and also got a Spencer Simeon flight deck as well, and they sent some shirts and stuff, so super stoked. But I did want to review this board. I skated it a little bit yesterday, and also I've skated it some today. But yeah, we're just gonna kind of go through it, and I'm gonna kind of give you my thoughts as I'm kind of doing some of these tricks and stuff like that, and tell you what I think. I haven't done a whole lot on the deck, so I'm gonna kind of test out all aspects of it and see what we can do. So I don't know, we'll do some flat ground tricks. I haven't done really many flip tricks on it, so we'll do some stuff. I haven't done any flip tricks actually at all today, period. So this will be, yeah, that was tight. This will be perfect. So, all right, let's get to it. Let's see what first, Levi. Levi's my cameraman today. Nollie heel first? How about switch heel? Oh gosh, dude. All right. Ah! Let's try another one. Try one more. See if I can get the pressure right for it. Oh! I lean forward. Dang it! Starting with nollie heel is wild. Oh! We're gonna count that because I suck at nollie heel. I'll do one more. I'm gonna take that one though. I'm not a nollie heel guy. I'm more of like a switch heel guy. So. Yeah. All right, let's try the switch heel. I love that this board is symmetrical. Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's like a really predictable snap, like every try. And I think that's due to it being flat on the ends. It's got these interesting pockets that I'm gonna try to figure out. Oh! That one wasn't bad. Do the same way, but fakey. There we go. There we go. There are a lot of gnats out here. Continue the heel flips. Heel flips feel, the switch at least, feel pretty good to see the regular. first try fakie heel stick. Yeah? Alright, let's do tray flip. Because I'm curious because the tail has these, the nose and tail have these like, these points. I'm curious as to like how it's gonna roll off for tray flips. Especially because I don't have the best ones. So let's see how it's going. See if we can get a good one. First try. Oh, what? That actually worked really well. I didn't pop it high, but that was on me. The fact that I landed one first try is a good sign on this deck. Let's do another one. It actually like flips really fast. It's an 8.4, the widest, but it looks like a, wow! It looks like an 8.25. It's weighted really nice. Once it starts going, it gets going. It's a good like warm up rail.
That was good.
Super on board.
Yo, that was really good. Now do a nollie flip.
What?
A nollie flip. In between, you did a nollie lip, so. Oh my gosh! That was crazy. Oh my gosh!
That is good, dude. I'm kind of shocked that happened first try. Usually it takes me a bit to cook a rail. So my older son, Lucas, is gonna skate the curved one with me. All right, you wanna go first? Yeah, Lucas.
Get his back, Dad. That was good. That was it.
Right here.
Oh. Dang. Oh, he crooked it. Oh, and he makes it.
All right, so that's some of the skating on the deck. When I first set it up, I'll start here. When I first set up the board, they sent me this deck, the Andy Anderson grip tape with this. I used it for I'll talk about the grip first because I used that for, I think it was only a session. So the grip tape is great. It pairs well with this board, especially if you're trying to figure things out, like all the lines and everything like that, flick direction, where the sweet spots are. For me, the way that I do some of my flip tricks and stuff like that, I kind of have it pretty down in my head. And also I like grip tape that has like a ton of grip. So I only used the grip tape for about, I think it was a session or two. And then I was like, okay, I need a little bit more grip. That's just what I'm used to. I've been skating I was skating Mob for a very long time, and I kind of switched to Pepper. Pepper is slightly less grippy than Mob. So I was gonna throw on a sheet of Pepper, like the normal, I've been skating the Galaxy grip, I like it a lot. I was gonna throw on the Pepper grip, and I was like, you know what? Let me put on the Pepper XG grip. It was just a thought I had because these boards always last me so long that I have to re-grip them. So I was like, well, let me try the XG. It will last longer. It's grippier at the start. It's like even grippier than Mob, I think, in my opinion, slightly. And you know, once it wears down a little bit and stuff like that, it gets, you know, pretty normal, but it'll hold through the life of the deck, theoretically. So that's what I was thinking. And I've been skating this deck for a couple months. It's been a couple, at least, I think it's been 2 or 3 months now, at least, or something like that. I'll have to go back and look, but a few months now. And after I switched to the Pepper XG grip, I've had that on since, and it still has so much grip. So if you're gonna try one of these flight decks, I suggest that is like a grip option for you because they last so long. You end up having to re-grip them, and you don't have to do that if you use the Pepper XG. So yeah, that Pepper XG grip, fantastic. Yeah, as you can see right here, it really hasn't, because this is fully symmetrical, it hasn't razored too much on either side, really. I mean, symmetrical decks tend to last longer anyways because you're not just, if you don't skate switch a lot, you're just popping off of like one side on normal decks. So you end up razor tailing a board a little quicker. So symmetrical decks, they just last a little longer in terms of like razor tail and all that stuff. So this is, the other thing about symmetrical decks is sometimes they aren't quite symmetrical, and I can tell. Like, I'm just pretty, I guess you'd say, cognizant of what's going on with my board and the way things feel, and I can tell if something's slightly steeper than, like if it's supposed to be symmetrical, I can step on it and look at it and tell if something is steeper or more mellow than like one side is more steep than the other. That happened with a Toy Machine symmetrical deck to me, actually. So, but these boards have been super consistent, all the Powell flight decks with this K26 concave. This one in particular, I've skated it both directions, haven't paid attention to it at all, and it feels exactly the same on both sides. So I didn't think to ask until I was about to film this, but I don't know if their boards are single pressed or not. Typically single pressed boards tend to be more consistent in terms of, you know, concave, and then also steepness of the kicks, and then steepness of the concave in the center and all that stuff. They tend to be a little bit more consistent. So to the eye, I haven't measured the angles of both sides of the deck. To the eye, and how they feel exactly the same. My timing feels the same. So if it is slightly different, then it's so close that I can't tell. I did measure the lengths of both, and they're both dead on exactly the same. So, and it was measuring like exactly 32 on the dot for the length. And it is about 825 in the center, and then I think over these, if I remember correctly, that's where it like hits the wider point. I believe it's like 8.4. One of the things that I was thinking when I wanted to try this board was, I've tried a lot of shaped decks in the past, whether it be, you know, just like shovel shapes and all the egg shapes from Heroin and stuff like that. The thing about most shaped boards is they're good for some things, and then they're really bad for other things, and that's just my opinion. Like, for example, the heroin eggs, they felt like really good for certain flip tricks, like kick flip tricks and stuff. You just like can get your foot off of it like really quickly, but they felt horrible for like crooked grinds and like nose slides and stuff like that to me. Like, it just didn't have enough surface area to where I felt like consistent on both sides of the board. That was just me. So they were like I said, there was some trade-offs there. For this board in particular, I had a couple questions. So I was like, is it going to be heavy feeling because it's technically it's bigger than like what I normally skate. I normally skate just the 825s. So I was thinking in my head, okay, well it's wide at these points, it's going to be heavy. The way that this board is like weighted, I don't know if, because it is wider at these points, like over the trucks, and then skinnier in the center, and it has a decent, like, has a cool shape for the nose and tail. It feels light. Like, it almost felt lighter than the normal 8, and I didn't weigh them, but this is just how it feels when you hold the deck with your trucks on and everything like that. The way it's weighted, it just felt lighter. And like, I was thinking things like tray flips and stuff like that would rotate slow, and because of the way it is, it rotates really quickly. So one of the things that I don't think I was ready for at first was how consistent the snap is for all of my flip tricks and like ollies and stuff like that. Because you have this, that's what the thing about this deck is, as it wears down, it kind of turns into kind of a normal popsicle looking thing, but it was more defined at first. You know, this was more square. These had more of an edge right here, like a squared off edge, and this was like the rounded point. So it was so consistent because of the flatness. Like right here, it's not completely just round like normal popsicles. It was so consistent that like some of the times I was like expecting my kickflip to kind of like, or other flip tricks to kind of be off because I like flicked it weird or something like that. And it ended up being perfect just because the snap was at least right, like every single time. So from what I remember about what Andy Anderson said about this deck, I think this board, like the design of it, I want to say that he said, and don't quote me on this 100%, that this shape took the least amount of time to make. It was almost like he took what he learned from his previous shapes and he was able to kind of quickly apply certain concepts to the design of this deck. So yeah, the pop was super consistent. And then tray flips, I was kind of wondering about tray flips because like because it doesn't have like a super, especially at first, this is more like a point right here and this is more a point right there. I was thinking like, because the way that you scoop tray flips is when you hit, you know, if you're goofy, this toe side edge kind of connects with the ground first, and that's what gets it going the opposite direction, like the kickflip way. You know, it's like, it's opposite. So it basically, your board bounces off of that, and then the little bit of flick you have for tray flips, not much, helps it kind of go around the opposite direction. So I was like, will it connect with the ground right? It's gonna feel weird for tray flips. My tray flips on this board have been better than they ever have been. This is the first board that I feel like I figured out tray flips on. I mean, I messed with my foot placement a little bit, but it just made the consistency like so good, and it bounced off of that like corner of the deck that was like right here. It hit that corner so well, and it would just kind of just come around, and it was just coming right up to my front foot. I don't know how to explain it. Awesome. So tray flips and like those rotational tricks felt amazing. Heel flips, a trick that I wouldn't say I struggle with, but the consistency isn't there. I think my heel flips have been better on this board than they have on anything else. It's just, I think that little bit of extra like meat, like on this, you know, on this edge right here, just helped me kind of connect, and then where your foot releases off of the nose, it just has a little bit more because it's, you know, a little squared right there. Felt like it was consistently catching my heel and everything like that. And then also because, you know, I put my foot in kind of the opposite pocket for heel flips a little bit to kind of get that. It's just like it distributes my weight well. I'll put it in like the heel, my toe on more of like the heel side pocket of my board, because it's flat on this edge, it was still popping like really consistently. And then even varial heels and stuff like that, they were just super consistent. There was no like, if I messed up on something, it was really like me when it came to like flip tricks. I mean, that's typically always how it is, but it felt like the board wasn't making it harder for me. Like I wasn't fighting against it for a lot of the flip tricks that I normally struggle with, that I'm not the greatest at. Switch heels, nollie heels, same thing. I used to have a good nollie heel like way back in the day, and nollie inward heels before I like quit and came back. I can't really do either one very well anymore, but for some reason I can switch heel pretty good, and it pops right. Switch heels felt great on this. The other thing, so let's talk about how it felt like skating ledges and stuff like that. So this is the only downside I saw to it at first, and it went away, you know, pretty quickly. But I do a lot of crooked grinds. So for crooked grinds, the way that I do them and the way they're pinched, one of the things I noticed at first was that because this had like a corner right here, you know, on the opposite, like say the toe side of my board, is when I crook, it's like this, and this part of your nose is what's dragging. So because this was like a point right here, I noticed that it was dragging a lot on ledges. Like it was slowing me down a good bit. So I had to use a bit more wax on the top of the ledge to make sure it was like going, or same thing for like a curb and stuff like that. Because I had to make sure there's a little bit more wax on the top to make sure it was consistently going, you know, every time, and I wasn't sticking. But that, once this like bottom ply wears down just a little bit, it like just went away. So it was only for like a short period at first that I noticed that. And then after that, it just became, it was going fine. Felt like a normal deck for how it slid right there on crooked grinds. And same thing goes for front crooks. So same thing. Those two tricks were the only two that I noticed that it was a little bit more difficult at first. And it wasn't the way that it locked in or anything like that. It was just that it was slower, and it would just, I could stick a little bit more. So, but that went away, like I said, really quickly. But the other thing is, for nose slides and tail slides, talk about super consistent. Like because the nose and tail, it's like, it's a pretty like wide surface area where you're like kind of locked in at, because it's more like straight, I guess you'd say, like right here. You just have a good surface area on both ends of the board. Dude, nose slides and tail slides, it felt like I was just chilling. Didn't matter how I landed with my foot or on the nose or tail, it was like in there. Also, like back tails, something I struggle with. Back tails have been better on this deck than they have been on anything else. So there's just so many upsides for me for skating this deck. It is, I can honestly say, one of the best skateboards I've skated so far. It's all the thought that Andy Anderson put into this deck for designing everything the way he did, and all these little pockets for sweet spots and everything like that, and the way that you flick and the way that you scoop, it just goes together. I mean, it just all kind of comes together very well, and especially with the way that it's weighted, like the distribution of the weight throughout the deck is awesome. And I did skate this. So at first, I'll tell you talk about the trucks I skated. At first, I had Venture V8s on this deck, like when I very first set it up, if I remember correctly. I had those on until those Thunder T2s came. When Deluxe sent me those Thunder T2s, I put that on it, and then I skated those until I was kind of I was done with the review for the Thunders. And then Ace sent me the new inverted trucks. So I've been skating the inverted trucks ever since. Those 3 trucks pretty much have your true wheelbase kind of the same. They're very close in terms of wheelbase. So the snap was pretty consistent. The only thing that was a little different, I mentioned this in the T2 video, was those trucks are slightly taller. So they were on like the taller side for me for pop timing. Some of the tricks I would kind of just barely be hitting the tail on the ground because it wasn't what I was used to for, you know, truck height. So, but for me with the V8s pushed all the way in, and then with the Ace inverted trucks, I mean, it's felt like fantastic. So if you just like, because normally I like a 14-inch wheelbase with, say, a normal Venture standard, or, you know, the cast plates or whatever, or a Thunder Team Hollow, I'll like a 14-inch wheelbase. With trucks that push your wheelbase in, I like a 14 and a quarter, you know. Wait, did I say that right? So, well, for 14 and a quarter, for 14 and a quarter decks, I like trucks that push your wheelbase in a little bit. So, I don't know if I said all that right or not, but oh well. Yeah, so this board, in my opinion, has been one of the most functional skateboards I have skated to this day. It's pretty impressive, and it hasn't changed. It hasn't really, the feeling of the deck hasn't really changed at all through the course of me skating it. The only thing that changed a little bit was really like those corners that I talked about. So they've been fantastic. I've been rocking Bones X Formula wheels on these entire time, like X97s. So yeah, great deck. If you want to try one of these flight decks, like I said at the beginning, it's a good idea to maybe think about some Pepper XG grip or something that's going to last a little bit longer, last with the deck, and it's not going to feel like just smooth at some point because the board lasts so long. So I do want to see if Powell, if you're listening, if I can get my hands on one of those new Zach Doling decks, the symmetrical, like I think it's 8.3 by, I want to say it's 8.3 by 31 and a half or 31.6 or something off the top of my head. It's got 14-inch wheelbase and it's symmetrical. So if I can get my hands on one of those, I'll definitely review that. But good job, Powell. Great job, Andy Anderson. You guys really killed it with this shape. And I love how consistent these boards are so far. I'm not one to skate a board or skate anything if I don't like it and I don't like skating it. It doesn't matter if it's free or not. I don't care. So I appreciate people sending me stuff and all that, but if it doesn't work well for me, I can't just keep skating it, because then I'm not having fun if it's not working well for me. And you know, everyone's different. Everybody's bodies are different, timing's different, their preferences are different. So there's been things that I've gotten that like didn't feel quite right, so I didn't keep skating them. Some things worked well enough to where it's like, yeah, I could keep skating this, but you know, I gotta almost like refeel things out or whatever. So like the T2s were like that. Enjoyed the trucks a lot. There was a lot of things I liked about them. They were just a smidge too tall for me. Just like, I mentioned that in the other video, just a little bit on the taller side. So yeah, all the Ace truck content is coming soon, I promise. I did want to really put these trucks through the ringer before I got into that. So, and the broken toe kind of put a halt. But you know, it is what it is. So thank you again, everyone that has been watching the videos. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Powell, Bones, for sending me stuff. You know, thank you, S. Etnies America, for hooking stuff up and allowing me to be an affiliate and all that stuff. So love all you guys. Catch you soon. Take it easy.